Introduce yourself, please.
I'm Angie Slabach.
And you have lovely hair.
Thank you.
And you're glad to have it.
Hair. Yeah. It's been growing out for about 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to trim it a couple times, so yeah, it's fun.
Tell me about your diagnosis. What led up to you being?
Well, I had felt a small lump in my breast, so I went to have a mammogram, and that was in August of 2009, and it actually did not show up on the mammogram. And so my doctor just said, if it changes, come back. So in February, I went back. And that mammogram led to a biopsy, which led to the diagnosis in March.
So sometimes, would you say your intuition as a woman said, maybe
my intuition said something's going on, which is why I went to the doctor in the first place. And what I learned through all of that is you got to be your own advocate. You've got to, if you think something is going on, you got to push until you get satisfied with an answer.
Whether it's an answer you want or not.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but an answer is better than an unknown.
So after you went back in February, walk me through that.
Yeah, so I went back in February, had the biopsy. It was confirmed. In March was actually when I got the diagnosis. So the month of April of 2010 was basically spent doing more tests, further testing, MRI, CT scans, PET scans, biopsies. I pretty much had every test that there is to have. And it was ultimately diagnosed as stage 4 breast cancer because it had metastasized to my bones.
Wow.
So then I started chemo.
For people who are listening who don't understand the difference between a stage 1 and a stage 4 and how you sort of take a heavy sigh before you even say stage 4.
Yeah.
The difference, can you speak to the difference for people?
Well, the way that I understand it in simple terms is stage 4 means that it has gone elsewhere in your body. It could be to your bones. It could be, to your lungs or your liver or something like that. Mine was to my bones. So the simple way that I understand it is the metastasis is somewhere other than the breast.
And then they have to do everything, cover it all.
Yes, so that's why I started with chemo. Some people start with surgery or radiation. I started with 6 months of chemo, and then I had bilateral mastectomy surgery in December, and we discovered during that surgery I was supposed to have reconstruction as well at that time, but they found that it was in all of the lymph nodes, so they weren't able to do the reconstruction, so I had 6 weeks of radiation beginning the 1st of February through March 16th of this year. So I've just finished that just a little bit ago.
Well, you look amazing.
So I'm feeling like I've just gotten out of jail. But I've not been in jail.
It's a pink prison, my friend.
There you go. Yeah.
So what's your prognosis?
So my prognosis is good. In fact, I actually had a PET scan this past Monday. And it showed, we got great results. I saw my doctor Tuesday, and it showed that at this point, the cancer that's still in my body is relatively unchanged. And she said she would describe me as having minimal disease at this point. So that was really good news.
That is great news.
Yeah.
How are you celebrating Mother's Day?
Well, to tell you the truth, I'm not really sure. It's Sunday, so we'll go to church, and
I'm sure there are big plans for you at your house. I know where you're going to be Saturday. Tell me where you're going to be.
Yes, Saturday, and my whole family's going to be there. My husband and 4 kids. They're all doing the race. My youngest daughter is doing it with her Girls on the Run group at her school.
Great group.
My son that's in middle school, his school has a team. And so he'll be there. My 2 older kids are in high school, and their high school has a team. So everybody's going to be involved, and we'll be up bright and early, like it or not. And we'll be doing the Komen race. So we're excited. We've actually done it before. We did it last year. We've done it a lot of years, but, it's taken on extra special meaning the last 2 years.
And one of the things I've heard from the 3 ladies who are in the room with us today is the exponential education we're getting between you and kids at school and a hockey team and teaching these young kids compassion.
Yes, and the kids get it. They get it. I mean, I could go on and on about the support that my kids have gotten from their friends and from our community. My son football team. They wore pink laces. They sold pink laces and actually raised $1,000 that they donated to breast cancer research. They wore pink T-shirts with their, emblem on them. My kids' cross-country team at the high school had special T-shirts made up with a pink ribbon on it that said "Racing for Angie," and all the kids wore those.
Does that just swell you up? She's getting through it, not.
Yeah. Let's see. Of course, Emma's Girls on the Run team, they do the Race for the Cure. And there's a lot of moms at this point that they know that have been affected by this. So the kids are, not just my kids, but all kids, there's just been a lot of people touched by this disease, which is kind of a sad thing. But
it is a sad thing, but the flip side of that, especially for these young men, to know about it, to be able to talk about it, to say breast out loud, and to know that they want to take care of their moms and they want to take care of their girlfriends and their wives, and to teach them this at an early age, invaluable to their future wives. Yeah,
my kids we've just been real open with them. They've known everything that we've known from the start, and they feel comfortable talking about it, and so I'm glad about that. Another little twist in my story is that I tested positive for the BRCA2 genetic mutation, which has huge implications for my kids.
Right.
They each stand a 50% chance of having this gene, which gives them a 50 to 80% more likelihood of developing breast cancer, boys or girls. Well, not as likely in boys, but for the girls. So they'll all be tested when they're 18 to determine if they have the gene. And because we know that now, which was, found through research, they won't have to go through what I've been through. I mean, there's preventive measures. In fact, my sister tested positive for it. And this past January, she had preventive bilateral mastectomy surgery with reconstruction. So she took the bull by the horns.
And I think this is a perfect segue for, life experience is one thing, and Komen's research that they've done. We're looking for that lifetime where no one knows what breast cancer is. It's something they had way back when. But this research just keeps improving and improving and improving. And the tests, like your sons and daughters and your sister took, that's not possible if people don't get out and walk. If you don't want to walk, come and cheer and, write a check. They'll take your check on Saturday. I'm pretty sure that's true. And a lot of people, maybe even if somebody's listening to this, somebody's going from your office and you can't, maybe you have a T-ball game or whatever it is that's in your life, say, hey, will you take this check for me? I can't be there.
That's right.
And I've been there every year, or I've never been there, and I promise I'm going to be there. Whatever it is that's going on in your life.
That's right.
This money raised is not just for you, a breast cancer survivor, but every woman, every man.
That's right.
And we need to support one another and in turn ourselves.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, what Komen does is huge. And, this disease, the way it affects women, mostly women, it just has a huge impact on our society because, women are the caretakers. And anyway, just... it's a great fundraising race, but it's also just a celebration, and it's just a fun day.
It is.
So, I would encourage any and all people come out. It's going to be a beautiful day, and you'll have a great time for a great cause.